Hi everyone, I hope you're feeling good and healthy and safe and well. Today I thought I would do a cooking activity with you, and I'm going to cook some shortbread biscuits because they're just plain simple and easy, but really yummy. So what do we need to cook shortbread biscuits? Well, hopefully your mummies and daddies have been to the shop and brought a few things for you to do whilst you're stuck at home. So I've gone and got some plain flour, some butter and caster sugar. And I'm only going to need a few ingredients and a few bits of equipment to make these biscuits. Firstly, I'm going to need a bowl and a wooden spoon, a scales to measure with, a cookie cutter, which I've chosen a fantastic little star, and a baking tray. Simple, isn't it? So let's begin. What do you think we could do first? Well, the first thing we need to do is turn on our scales, put our bowl on our scales, and the first thing we need to do is get our sugar. Now, we need 55 grams of sugar, so that's 5 and 5 to make 55. And we pour our sugar into the bowl. Make sure you look to make sure it goes to 55. Not quite. Oh, we're nearly there. A little bit more. Fantastic. 55. Now, the next thing we need is some butter. And we need 125 grams. That's a lot. And it's more than the sugar. So we get our bowl again and we put it on the scales. We pick up our butter and our wooden spoon and we scoop out and put them into the bowl with the sugar. Shall we count as we go along? 1, 2, 3, I'm nearly there, I'm on 100 grams at the minute. 4, amazing, I have just got it to 125. Now, because I just touched some butter, I'm quickly going to go and wash my hands, so I'll be back in one moment. Don't go anywhere. I told you I'd be right back. So, what do we do now? Well, we get our wooden spoon and our bowl, and we've got to mix the butter and the sugar together to make a nice gooey mess. Okay? So, spoon in the bowl and bash that butter and sugar together. If you want, you could use a mixer, an electric mixer, if you've got one. But I like to bash it because it makes lots of fun noises. Once it starts getting a little bit mixed together, you have to turn it really fast, and it makes like a really sweet smelling paste. So can you see, children? Look at that. All of my sugar has disappeared and it's now in the butter. So we're just going to give it another quick whisk. Ooh, that smells delicious already. But we're not going to eat it yet, are we? No. Because if we eat it now, we can't give any to our mummies and daddies, or our brothers and sisters. And I'm pretty sure they would enjoy it. Okay, so I think that's about okay. So we'll just bash our spoon off. Right, just put your spoon to one side. And we'll get our scales again. Make sure it's on. Put your mixture onto the scales and set it to 0 again. Or if you're using weights, you can use a different bowl for the flour. But I'm going to put it on here. Now we need 180 grams of flour. This can be a little bit messy, but don't worry. As long as you've got a nice clean surface to use, we can always wipe it off again in a minute. So we're going to sprinkle our flour in just like snow. Make sure it goes all in the bowl. It's quite a lot of flour, so it might take a little bit longer. And we are nearly there. Just a little bit more. And there we go. 180 grams. Now, again, we get our spoon and we're going to mix this up so that it makes a little bit like a paste and a dough. So you want it quite doughy but still a little bit sticky. So we're just going to mix it round. And this time just try and be a little bit more gentle so that the flour doesn't go everywhere. But if you get a bit messy, it doesn't matter, because we can just put our clothes in the wash. So round we go. And in a minute what we're going to do is we're going to get our fingers nice and messy. So it's a good job I washed my hands. So I've just mixed the flour and the butter together a little bit. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use my hands to bind it all together. I'm just going to put our spoon down. And what you want to do is just crunch it together with your fingers. Mash it together. Make a lovely sticky mess. Because we all know that mums and dads love us getting messy, don't we? And look, oh my gosh, it's all stuck to my hands. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my other hand just to get it all off and pop it back into the bowl. Now at this stage, what you could do if you want to make your biscuits even more yummy, and if you've got it, you could add some vanilla essence. And that'll just make the biscuits taste even sweeter. So, as you can see, I am now absolutely messy. But I'm not done just yet, because we need to make sure that all of our ingredients are binded together. And what you can see is happening is it's starting to make a ball. Now at this stage what I'm going to do is I might add a little bit more flour. So you just want to get all of this gooiness as much as you can onto the bowl and not on your fingers. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly wash my hands again before I add a little bit more flour, just so that it's not too sticky. Okay, give me one moment. Okay, clean hands again. So I'm just going to get a little bit more flour, and this bit you just sprinkle a little bit over your dough. because we don't want it to be too sticky. And you just mix it in until you've got, there we go. Now what's happening is, as you can see, it's starting to make more of a ball, and it's not as sticky on our hands. So just get as much of that flour as you can onto the dough until we have our dough. And what you can do is you can just mix it together a little bit to make a lovely round ball. Doesn't have to be a ball, could be any shape you want. Now this next part is done on the surface. So what I would suggest is just getting a little bit of flour and doing a little bit of a snow sprinkle onto your cooking surface, and just make a big sticky but floury mess on your surface. Get your dough, plonk it onto the surface. The flour will stop it from sticking to the surface. Just pat it down a bit so it's a little bit thin. Now you could roll it out if you wanted. I tend to think that it's funner just to push it down with your hands, because you want your biscuits about this thick, maybe an inch. That's for you mums and dads. So there we go. Just what I've done, and I'll just show you. I've just patted out my dough. Good. Now remember, we get our star cutter, and how do we do it at nursery? That's right. We press down really hard, give it a little wiggle, and lift it up. We then move and we press down with a wiggle and lift it up, and then move away any of that excess biscuit dough, and then we put our biscuits onto the tray ready to go in the oven. Oh, and by the way, I've already turned my oven on so that it's ready to go. But please make sure you get your mummies and daddies to do that, because it's very hot and we don't want to burn our fingers, do we? Because then we can't do any other fun activities like colouring or reading or playing. Now this should make quite a few biscuits, but it doesn't matter really how many you get, as long as everyone gets one. And it depends what shape. You don't have to do a star. You could do circles, you could do squares, you could make your own. You know, you could make your own shape up. You can make a rainbow. So we're going to get our star again, and we're just going to push it out. Oh, it's got stuck. Come onto the tray. I'm just going to make a couple more, and then I'm going to get ready to put it in the oven. So just pat it out again. Make sure it's still nice and thick, because you want the biscuits to be quite thick so that they've got that lovely buttery and sugary taste. But if you want them thin so that you can dunk them in a nice cup of tea, which I like to do. Oh, it's got stuck again. So just let it flop out and put it on our tray. I think I'm going to do 2 more, and then that's enough for all my family, because I have 6 people in my family. I have me, my children's mum, and my 4 children. And if you need a bit more flour because it's getting a bit sticky, just pop another sprinkle of snow and flour on. Now it's probably a good idea to try and get them all roughly the same size, because that way they'll cook at the same rate and they won't all come out at different times or different shapes. One more, and then if anyone's been counting, I've now made 6 stars. Just pat it out one more time. Bet you love patting this out and bashing these dough. Okay, And there we go, our last star. So, as you can see, I have made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 star biscuits. And what you can do at this stage, which I quite like to do as well, is get a little bit of our sugar and just give it a sprinkle, just to cover the top of the biscuits. And that just adds a little bit of sweetness to the biscuit. Well, not too much. Ta-da! So the last thing to do is pop these into the oven. So I'm going to do that. And once that's done, we need to tidy up. We must always clean up. But the first thing we do before we clean is, once again, we've got to wash our hands. So I'm going to wash my hands, and I'm going to clean everything up so it's nice and tidy again, ready for us to do something fun again later. I hope you've enjoyed my cooking experience, and if there's anything else you want me to do, please leave us a comment on our Facebook page and I'll see what I can do. Everybody stay safe, and I hope to see you all again soon. Missing you all loads. Bye.